like to call the meeting to order. If we would all stand, go through the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all, and as a veteran, and Memorial Day coming up, we have a lot to be thankful for in this country, for the people that have stood up and protected the freedoms that we all exercise today. And I think we all need to express our appreciation and our support for those who do stand up and fight for this country. Lisa, would you read the opening statement and call the roll, please?
This is to advise the general public and to instruct that it be recorded in the minutes that in compliance with the Senator Byron M. Baer Open Public Meetings Act, the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority set its annual meeting schedule for August 2017 through July 2018, setting forth the time, date, and location of this meeting to the Secretary of State's office in Trenton, New Jersey, and the office of the Clerk of Atlantic City. The notice was published in the Press of Atlantic City, the Camden Courier Post, and the New York Star Ledger on August 1st, 2017 and August 2nd, 2017. Members of the press will be permitted to take photographs at today's meeting, providing that it is done in a manner which is not distracting to the authority, nor interferes with the public's right to observe the meeting. Any member of the public who wishes to address the authority regarding items to be presented to the board today will be given the opportunity to do so. Comments regarding any issues that do not appear on today's agenda will be taken during the public comment portion at the end of the meeting. We ask that members of the public who address the board stand and state their name and address for the record each time they speak on an issue. It is also requested that comments be limited to 3 minutes per issue. Deborah DiLorenzo?
Present.
Ed Camp?
Here.
Margie Antonio? Mayor Frank Gilliam?
Here.
Michael Hanley?
Here.
Gary Hill?
Here.
Howard Kyle?
Here.
William Mullen? Kevin Ortsman?
Present.
James Plossis? Dave Rebuck for the State Attorney General?
Here.
Bob Shaughnessy for the State Treasurer?
Here.
Stacy Spira for the DCA Commissioner?
Here.
Frank Spencer? Richard Tolsik?
Here.
Chairman Robert Mulcahy?
Here. The first item on the agenda is the ratification of the minutes of the April 17th public board meeting. Are there any comments or changes anyone has requested? Hearing none, I'll accept the motion to ratify the minutes and place them on file.
Move.
Motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so ordered. One little note, I've noticed that the committee meeting for July is scheduled for July 3rd, which is the evening of July 4th. That obviously is a poor date to have a board meeting. Depending on the amount of business, we may need an additional meeting, or if we can do it, we'll do committee meetings on the morning of the board meeting in July. So as of now, I just wanted you to be aware when you make your plans for July 4th. Actually, it's a Wednesday, I think, this year. So next, Mr. Howard, would you be good enough to give us some good news?
Certainly. A few things for a few updates for the board today. First, recap of some events that we've had since our last meeting. The 21st annual Atlantic City Host Awards were held on Wednesday, May 2nd. It was in the Adrian Phillips Theater at Jim Leon Boardwalk Hall. That's always a great event. Well-deserved recognition for our nominees and winners that frankly are vital to the success of our tourism industry here. This year we had over 600 attendees, so just want to say thank you to Larry Sieg and his staff for another great event this year. Also had some big events at Boardwalk Hall. We all heard about the UFC event. That was over 10,000 people in attendance when you include the Fan Fest and weigh-ins. Huge event, obviously a lot of good press for that. Paw Patrol was also at Boardwalk Hall April 28th and 29th. We had 8,500 for that, 4 performances in the theater. Stockton's graduation this past Friday was over 13,000, and the Mother's Day Music Festival was over 10,000 on Saturday. In the convention center, we also had some big events. The Atlantic Builders Convention was 6,000 attendees. That was April 11th, 12th. And the Adidas Select Series, which was a basketball event, was April 20th to 22nd. There were 11,500 attendees. And then one big event of note coming up, May 26th, we'll have Kevin Hart at Boardwalk Hall, and we've already sold over 11,000 tickets for that one. So some good stuff happening at the building. So that's all I have.
Things are happening.
Yes, sir.
The basketball thing, that's the first time we've done something like that, right, there?
I don't, it was the first time we've had this event for sure. First time anything like this, yes.
That's good, that's creative. Okay, let's go to the actions for the public. The first item on the agenda, the Boardwalk Regency LLC, which is Harrah's Atlantic City. It's a minor subdivision of Block 157. Lisa, would you please read the resolution?
Resolution of the casino.
Chairman, I have to recuse myself from the
Yes, okay, Kevin. Got it.
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority approving a minor subdivision with bulk and use variances for Block 157, lots 1 through 6, 9 through 15, and 21.02 through under application 2018-04-2365.
Any other people besides Kevin have to recuse themselves? Chris, you want to go through a description of this?
Sure. Boardwalk Regency LLC has requested minor subdivision approval with use and bulk variances for the site located at Pacific Avenue between Indiana and Ohio Avenues. The site is the current location of the Harrah's and Valley's Human Resource Building and surface parking lots. The purpose of the subdivision is to realign and consolidate multiple parcels into 2 tracts. No new construction is proposed. A public hearing on this application was conducted on April 19th of 2018. The applicant provided adequate proofs that the subdivision, along with the use and bulk variances, meets the regulation requirements and good planning and engineering design practices, So the hearing officer has recommended that the minor subdivision be approved and that the requested use and bulk variances be granted.
Any comments, questions from board members? Any public comment?
I was gonna ask one question about those
Mr.
parcels of land around the administration building. Is the administration building gonna still be there?
Believe so, yes. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other comments from public members? Hearing none, I'll close the public comments section. I'll entertain a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt?
It's been moved. Second. Any further discussion? Hearing, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so ordered, motion carried. Second item on the agenda is the Atlantic City Visitor's Guide and Map. Approval to enter into an agreement with Kenyon Press in an amount not to exceed $114,997 for printing and delivery of the official 2019 Atlantic City Visitor Guide and Visitor Map. Lisa, would you please read the resolution?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority approving the execution of a service agreement with Kenyon Press Incorporated for printing services for a 1-year term in an amount not to exceed $114,997.
Any recusals? Description of the action, Chris?
Yes, sir. This action is for the printing and delivery of our visitor guide and visitor's map. Just some background, our official visitor guide, we print about 75,000 of those each year. They're distributed at our 2 visitor welcome centers on the Boardwalk and at the Expressway Welcome Center, and also through requests on our visitor hotline and CRDA website. The visitor map is printed in a quantity of 500,000 and distributed throughout New York, New Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and I believe Maryland. We do offer advertisement opportunities to help offset the costs. This year we sold about $60,000 in ads, so our net cost for this action is just under $55,000. The only other thing I would add is this is a 1-year contract, but there is a 2nd-year option with a slightly increased cost. So it would be $118,446.
Less whatever we can sell ads for.
Correct, yes.
Board discussion.
Just one question. Whenever I'm on the Parkway, I always look at the visitor rack. I never see our material in there. Is there any way to get our material in the Parkway visitor rack?
I think it's
Should be.
Yeah,
I'll double check with CTM, but they should be in there.
yeah. I have
always
seen
look
them
for it when
in
I'm
there,
on the
but
Parkway.
Yeah, I've seen them too. I'll check.
Howard, I've seen them too.
we'll confirm.
It's good if they're empty.
Rich?
That's a good point.
How is it, last month we approved the resolution for city CTM Media Group to provide brochure distribution, and I asked the question of all the places they're putting out. What's the difference between, I know one's a map, I get it.
So this is actually, and I would agree we did it a little bit out of order this year maybe, but this is the actual printing of what is distributed at the centers. So we did the distribution last month. This is actually printing the
It's the
guides.
same information.
So yes, other than the,
So.
I'm not sure I understand the question, I'm sorry.
I'm not sure I understand. Last month, we approved $103,000 for CTM Media Group to provide brochure distribution service.
Right.
Just to distribute it.
Yes.
So we're spending another $114,000 to print it.
Plus about 55,000.
Less the
Yes.
ads.
Right now, I'm approving $114,000.
That's correct.
All right, so 200 and some $1,000 to accomplish the same thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So this overall initiative is 200 and some $1,000,
That's correct.
Yes,
less the
Whatever we-
ads.
right.
All right, just making sure that we're transparent.
Other comments from board members? Any comments from the public?
Good save.
Hearing none, close the public section. Motion to adopt the resolution.
Moved.
Been moved, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so ordered. The next item is, you're gonna ask the same question, Rich, because we had to do it before. Environmental and asbestos remediation services. Approval to reject the bids. Lisa, would you please read the resolution?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority rejecting all bids received for environmental and asbestos remediation services.
Any recusals? Chris, you want to just describe the action?
Sure, it's a relatively quick one. The authority previously had contracts for environmental remediation and asbestos abatement services separately. We tried to combine those services under one contract for purposes of administrative efficiency. But the bids we received were all of them were either non-responsive or included far greater rates than we are accustomed to paying. So the plan now is to split the services up again and award contracts hopefully next month. That would be two separate contracts. So for now, we're recommending the rejection of the bids for the combined.
And I get that. So I'm gonna go back to the last one, I apologize. There is no way to combine that service that somebody can print and distribute.
Printing and distribution.
It's different companies.
I
No,
understand.
that's not the question. The question is there a company that does
That can
both?
do it all?
No.
Okay.
Not in we looked at that, I think, 2 years ago.
Okay. All right.
All right, back to the asbestos remediation rejection. Board discussion. Public discussion. Hearing none.
Motion.
I'm sorry,
Motion.
I didn't get to that yet.
We're hearing none.
Motion. We're getting in a holiday spirit here.
I'll be better.
I wouldn't bet on it. A motion to adopt the resolution to reject the bids. Motion?
Motion.
Debbie, Bob Shaughnessy seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Bids are rejected.
Maybe I'm going to vote no.
Hey, that's all right, we'll put you down. Third, yeah, we are having a little fun.
A little fun.
A little fun.
Light agenda for a little fun.
Hey, summer's coming, it's time to...
We're all gonna go to first.
Next item on the agenda, environmental and industrial hygiene consulting services. Approval to award contracts in an aggregate amount not to exceed $150,000 to Marathon Engineering and Environmental Services and Environmental Resolutions Incorporated for services on an as-needed basis. Lisa, would you please read the resolution?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority awarding professional services agreements to Marathon Engineering and Environmental Services and Environmental Resolutions Incorporated to provide environmental and industrial hygiene consulting services on an as-needed basis for a one-year period ending May 31st, 2019, under a total procurement not to exceed $150,000.
Anybody need to be recused? Chris, you want to describe the,
Sure. So we are looking to award a new as-needed contract with a not-to-exceed cap of $150,000 for as-needed environmental and industrial hygiene consulting services. I am happy to report, Mr. Tolson, that this is an area where we were able to combine the two contracts.
Thrilled to hear it.
I'm sorry?
Thrilled to hear.
In this case, the consolidation worked out well. The contract is for a term of 1 year. We will have an option to extend for a second one-year term.
board discussion? Public comment? Motion to approve.
Moved.
Moved, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Next item, Atlantic City Job Training Initiatives Project. This is for preliminary determination of project eligibility. Lisa, would you please read the resolution?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority granting preliminary determination of project eligibility to the Atlantic City Jobs Training Initiatives Project.
Thank you. Chris Howard is recused on this matter. Any further recusals?
Yes, Kevin, I have to recuse myself. as
Okay,
well.
we have two recusals on the matter.
Chairman, I'll recuse myself as well.
With two new casinos opening next month, there are up to 5,000 new job opportunities, and recognizing the need for proper training of potential employees, Local 54 approached the Division of Labor and the Authority for funding of a pilot jobs training program for the hospitality industry. The proposed grant would be administered by the CRDA and managed by Local 54. The grant amount would be between $170 to $340, probably $180 on the initial training program. It depends on the length of time the program runs, which could be 6 to 12 months, will be given from the Department of Labor. We are currently working with the Department of Labor to work out a memorandum of understanding relating to exactly how the program would work. If it's successful in the initial term, the program may be renewed and private sector funding may be considered. The training would take place in an underutilized space within the Atlantic City Convention Center, which would be leased from the authority at a yet-to-be-determined rate. I might add that this authority, as long as I have been on it, has been open to suggestions, and in one case, I think with the prior mayor, we had approved a training program, or a grant for a training program. Obviously, anything we can do to train people to get them jobs, we're open to doing it, and this is part of that effort. We look forward to it being successful, hopefully. And if this serves as a pilot that works, then it becomes an opportunity for further initiatives in this area. So I am grateful to Local 54 for approaching us. I'm grateful for Matt Doherty putting the effort together. Board discussion.
Just a comment, Mr. Chairman, and I think we need to add the mayor, his efforts into creating job and career opportunities for the residents of Ocean City. It's been said here, Ocean City.
Ocean City. I didn't know that we were doing that.
I'm working on it.
Mayor, he's taking your money.
My apologies, that was a Freudian slip. For Atlantic City, those efforts have gone on for at least the 30 years that I represented workers in Atlantic City, and prior to that, but it just needs to be repeated that there are efforts going on to put the residents of Atlantic City and Atlantic County first for the opportunities and careers that are created here in their hometown. So just wanted to make sure we made people aware of that.
Other comments from board members?
Again, I think it's a great idea. It's going to be a number of jobs that are still available at many of the properties, not just the two new ones. Many entry-level jobs, low-level skills at this point in time. But we've heard great evidence in the past if you can start at the bottom and certainly work your way up to very high levels, as evidenced by the success of the CEO of Jim Allen at Hard Rock. And more importantly, I think that it's great to have this program ongoing because there's going to be a need to replace people as people retire, people leave the industry, and so it's great to have it in play for Atlantic City residents and others. And Hard Rock recently announced, and if you missed it, they've hired the last number was 3,250 people as full-time, part-time seasonal jobs. And of those, 850 were residents of Atlantic City. So that's a good news story.
They've done a good job. They've done a very good job, and I commend Hard Rock for that.
No, they've done an excellent job, and they're nearing the end of their offers because they're soon going to open. But that doesn't mean there's still a lot of jobs out there because there's quite a bit of movement with the 2 new properties coming on. And we have people looking for positions coming from all over the state.
The key, though, was the 850 that you said from Atlantic City that got hired there.
Right.
Other comments from board members? Mayor?
Well, just one simple comment is that we all know that a working community is actually a healthy community. And I think that this is an initiative that spawned from a few insights from Hard Rock as well as Local 54. And these are the type of partnerships and the new nuances that this town needs in order for us to really gauge how we're going to include the community. And I tilt my hat to Local 54 as well as Hard Rock for stepping up and doing something like this because, again, more people are working, less crime, less foreclosures and so on and so forth. So this is a great initiative that I think we're supporting.
And Bob, I would just like to take time to also know, I've had direction, there's discussions with the mayor, with Hard Rock, with the casinos. There's this historic sense that in order to gain employment at in a casino, you have to have a pristine background. And I mean by pristine is could not have any criminal arrests, you could have no criminal convictions, you have significant debt to the state, you're barred. And there's nothing further from the truth because we will evaluate everybody's background, and when they have problems or experienced problems in the past, they have an opportunity to show rehabilitation. And there's all sorts of evidence of people who have criminal records from the past who have rehabilitated themselves and certainly are good citizens today. And even if they owe money to the state of New Jersey or they owe money to a municipality, it's not going to bar them. We're going to work with them to either get current with their debts to the state or enter into some agreement to make that payment over time, where they won't be burdened and not able to make those payments and crushing to their family and themselves. And there's plenty of evidence to that. So I just hope that the citizenry doesn't hear rumors and innuendos and assume that because they've had past problems that they were not eligible to gain employment in a casino operation, because there is nothing further from the truth.
And to your very point, that's where it's very important that this recovery court piece is mentioned, because it's important that the workers that are going to be working after they graduate from drug court or recovery court will now be participants in those job opportunities, as was mentioned. But also, too, that the city of Atlantic City, as well as Judge Mendez, just this past weekend, to your very point, had put your life back on track. And that's simply being able to come back into the court system, allowing that person that may have a fine or a warrant, that warrant was lifted and that fine was adjusted so they can be eligible for employment. So there's a lot of good synergy going on in Atlantic City, and to the very point that we're speaking about, that's how we're all going to basically find ourselves on a higher ground. The more we collaborate and the more programs that we support like this just shows just not that CRDA isn't working against the city, but they are a partner within the city.
You know, it's sort of all come together. The rebound is happening in the city. This provides opportunity. We're trying to make sure that the opportunities exist. And I think the mayor is quite right, that we're entering an era where there's an opportunity for the CRDA and the city of Atlantic City together to do a lot of things that will make a significant dent in improving the quality of life here. And I've had this discussion with the mayor, and look, that's what we're all about. I mean, this is really what we're trying to do here. This is, there's a lot of things going on to make a destination as well as a casino destination. And part of that is that we improve the life of everybody here. And I've said many times, if you look back at the past, one of the problems that we had was when everybody was making a fortune, nobody thought about working together to get the stuff done. So when the crash came, everybody lost, nobody had any money to do anything, and it caused a great deal of upsetment. And that's not what we want here anymore. So hopefully we learned a good lesson, and these are the kinds of steps that I think, you know, we're a unique agency. The CRDA is the only agency of its kind in the country. And so we set a precedent for how we do things. And this is part of our mission, is to help Atlantic City, and this is one of the kinds of things that we can do to make that happen. So, Dave, I thank you for your remarks. Mayor, I thank you for your remarks. Rich, I thank you for yours. And we move forward. Public comment. Yes, sir.
I don't know.
Okay. Anybody else?
Me. You know, I've heard, it sounds wonderful, ladies and gentlemen, what you're talking about right now. But I've heard these programs before, from the time casinos first started. I've been here all that time, I've watched it. Great. People learn. That's wonderful things, wonderful. But can you please, ladies and gentlemen, please, encourage people to stay in our city? Now, our growth has taken place throughout the entire state, county, everywhere else, but here. We haven't grown here like we should have grown all these 40 years. Now, y'all can say what you want, give me a whole lot of talk and say this and that, but I've seen it. I've seen this town go down. Now, I expect this town to grow. I really do. With all the efforts that you're putting forth, fine. But encourage these people to stay in our city and help our city to grow. We need that type of employees and people to stay here in our city. That is what's wrong with our city. Everybody leaves. The county has grown like leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds. And our city has not grown like it should have. Now please, please, encourage these people to stay in our city. We done built 4 new schools. You can't say our schools are bad anymore, run down. They're brand new schools. Now come on, ladies and gentlemen, let's do our city great honor by having people to stay in our city and live here and raise their children. Please.
Well, Bill, we're trying our best. As you know, the 4I project, market rate housing, we put $15 million into it in an effort to keep people to either come or stay in the city. So, you know, step by step, we're doing what we have to do here. There's only so much we can do, but certainly we can lead the way, and that's what we're trying to do.
Good.
Other comments from the public? Yes, Bill.
More points of clarification, if I may. Firstly, job training is a great thing. We have unemployment in the city, that's why we have crime. Second thing, and this is, are you voting today to spend 170 or 340?
No, the grant from the Department of Labor will be somewhere within that range. We expect probably 180 or maybe 190. What we are voting on today is not the money, because that will come from the Department of Labor. What we're voting on is a preliminary determination for the project, so that with the staff can proceed to get the agreements in order so that we can do this.
More clarification, please. In the past, when people trained for the unions, you two involved in the unions, who paid for that? The unions, the
Collective
workers?
bargaining, union pays for it.
Okay. So will this supplant that payment by the union?
No, it'll be in
Okay.
conjunction with, I assume. I haven't seen the documents, but that's it.
Right.
We have received, our union has received grants from the Department of Labor, and it works in conjunction with the collective bargaining
Thank
Every
you.
union agreement's different.
Yeah.
And is this just for Atlantic City residents or for
Yes.
county
No,
residents?
it's for whoever belongs to the union.
Okay. Thank you.
Other comments? Yes,
If I
Rich.
could, Mr. Chairman, or people that potentially may become part of the union. It's not restricted to existing union members.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
Just clarification. I knew what you meant.
Yes. One way or the other. Other comments from the public? Hearing none, I'll close the public comment section. I'll accept the motion to approve the preliminary determination of project eligibility.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further comment from any board members? Seeing, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Next, we come to the public comment section of the meeting. Any member of the public who wishes to address the board, please state your name and make your comments appropriately. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Commissioner, Chairman. Harold Strauss, resident of Atlantic City. Is it possible that the City of Atlantic City can extend or give a beach lease for a year or 5 years or 30 years to a business establishment without the review and approval of the CRDA?
It's a legal question. Well,
The granting of beach leases, sir, is up to the city of Atlantic City.
It's up to the city.
Correct.
Okay. And CRDA has no review or approval?
The CRDA does not review the city's beach leases, no.
Okay, thank you.
other comments from the public? Mr. Cheatham.
I want to say one thing, ladies, gentlemen. Now, I'm a pretty nosy guy, which I shouldn't be, but I am. I admit that. But you, CRDA, use some of your influence to encourage Atlantic City Expressway, please, to do things decently and in order. Decently and in order. Now, that covers a lot of ground. I know that. Now, if I have to go over there to their meeting to explain it to them step by step, I'll do that. But those toll collectors out there are the first people that I'll visit to meet.
Are we talking about toll collectors here?
Yes, I'm talking about it.
Why are we talking about toll
Because
collectors?
it's a part of your
Mr.
job
Chairman.
to see that everything runs right in our area.
Yeah, but we have, no, the toll collectors are part of the collective bargaining agreement with the
Well, you still need-
expressway.
You still need to use some influence there somewhere along the line. But those people, you're the first people that we are visitors. And the last people that to meet. Now, some of those toll collectors need to have a little training.
Have a little what?
Training. On
You're
how to treat,
probably
how to
right
treat,
about that.
how to treat their visitors. Okay? Now, I know what I'm talking about because I worked out there for almost 10 years, okay? So it needs to take place. And we need all the help we can do to make this city better. And treating our visitors with respect and decency, and thank you for coming and everything else. This is what we need to do, a little bit more. Make an effort.
We hear you. And look, every time we've done, you can look to Disney as the example for how to treat people when they come and go. And certainly anything we can do to treat people in a better way to make them feel good about Atlantic City is something that we can do. And certainly we can make that suggestion. We don't control it, but we can make the suggestion.
Good.
Other comments from the public? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Michelle Newman. I'm an Atlantic City resident. I just had a question regarding something that is being built on the beach in front of our condo. A business has announced that they're building a 300,000 square foot facility on the beach, and you know, I haven't really seen anything come about this in the newspaper or any notice. I don't know if you're
Do
aware
we
of
know
anything.
anything about this?
I don't, Mr.
What?
Chairman, I'm not sure what she's talking about.
Can I approach?
Yeah, sure.
It says a 300,000 square foot facility and a 25-year lease. Okay, that's what I'm asking about, Mr. Chairman.
What property? Is this the Ocean Club?
Chelsea Beach Bar. In front of the Ocean Club.
It's already there.
It says the Chelsea Beach Bar, grand opening this Memorial Day weekend, over 300,000 square feet of fun for the whole family, brand new beach chairs.
That's the whole beach.
Huh?
That's the whole beach.
That's the entire beach.
Huh?
That's the entire beach, from Montpelier to Chelsea Avenue.
Right, okay.
We know nothing about it, we've heard nothing about it.
No.
And that's why I was asking.
But that's from the
you
water
questions.
to the boardwalk, block to block.
And Mr. Chairman, on the next page, you see that he says he's
I saw
received a 25-year lease. Okay? We've seen nothing on the website, the city, the CRDA.
Do you know anything about this, Mayor?
No. False advertising.
This is public documents, marketing from the Chelsea Beach Bar.
Yeah, I see it. It obviously came off the, Mr. Howard, would you check it out? No, none of us know anything about it.
Well, okay. Well, could I
Yeah.
respectfully ask that the appropriate people at the CRDA work with the city to give us an answer to
Sure.
the Chelsea Neighborhood Association and the Ocean Club?
So if I may, Mr. Chairman, they received a beach lease from the city. As as Paul indicated, Mr. Weiss indicated, we don't control what the beach leases are done. The majority of that area is for the beach chairs, umbrellas, and that vendor rights that they obtain from the city to rent out beach chairs in that area. The beach lease does cover, as Mr. Gann indicated, the area from block to block, and that's what's the majority of that area. None of that is under our control. What is under our control is that the bar that exists now, they are preparing plans that we've asked for to amend that. They have to come in for site plan approval for that. They can't change anything that's in that bar area that's designated as the Chelsea Beach Bar until they come in to see us. So from the beach lease standpoint, they got those approvals from the city. They don't need our approvals to operate the vending of beach chairs, umbrellas, and things of that nature. They did show us what they were going to do, but it was a nice picture of an umbrella stand and how they're going to do it. But that's all they needed from us was approval for the beach bar, which already exists.
Excuse me. Bulldozers have been out there and increased that beach bar by 30% in the last week.
We'll look into that. If they've expanded that area,
They've expanded
we'll
it,
look into
sir.
that.
Yeah.
No,
They've expanded it.
No, the sand that actually was blown up on the fences, the city of Atlantic City pretty much pulled the sand back from the fences. But
They moved the fences. I have a clear
With due
view of
respect, Mr.
the
Mayor,
beach.
they've moved the fences out about 25 feet all over that original area. And we've had pictures, we'll be happy to show you. The other thing is, I'd like to know how long this lease is for, because we don't see this lease on the city website. How long is this lease for, sir?
City
It's
Council?
not our jurisdiction.
City Council?
I don't know. City council issue.
Okay, but you mentioned that they have a lease, so you must know how long it is, sir. I don't think it's a secret if you know if it's 5 years, 30 years. I'm just asking a question so I can answer the Chelsea Neighborhood Association. Because we don't see it on any city document. We see all the other leases posted, but we don't see this one. It's missing.
I don't have a good answer for you because we don't know.
Okay, well, we don't know either, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
We're trying to find out.
Well, I'm sure we will find out.
Thank you.
Blanche, you can find that out.
Yes, sir. I will.
And can someone investigate that, we do have pictures, this business establishment has moved out its perimeter about 25 feet on all four sides.
We'll check that out also.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Not a problem. Other comments from the public? Yes, sir.
Jeff Rosenberger, 600 Pacific Avenue, Beachgate Condos. I brought this topic before the board before. When Revel built, Ocean Resort's about to open, and right now the perimeter of our property is a mess. When Revel opened, the CRDA took New Jersey Avenue, extended it out, kept us within our wall, and put all these berms with plantings. It's ugly, they're dead. They also grow weeds constantly. On the Oriental Avenue side, we have the same situation, where you fenced this in. Here are the original plans that, from what I understand, Nick Talvacchio should have some kind of memory of this. He was the attorney involved for Revel at the time. But it was supposed to be kept by the CRDA or SID or whoever keeps the outside grounds for the casinos. I don't know if it was Revel, maybe it was Revel. Somewhere, the contract is in this office, and never have I had a satisfactory answer. So I'd like to get some kind of answer directly so that we can find out who's responsible for that stuff outside our walls.
Do we have an answer for that?
It was Revel.
It was Revel.
Yes.
Did that pass with the deed to Revel? Did their responsibilities pass at all?
No.
So who is going to keep the ground?
Yes, it was true.
If I may, sir.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, the obligations that Revel had, the former Revel had to maintain those berms as part of the entryway into their facility was an obligation that the authority had negotiated. Those contracts were rejected in bankruptcy. And when the organization came out of bankruptcy, none of those obligations survived the bankruptcy. So that's why you have berms with weeds and plants that have died, is because the bankruptcy court, in the sale of the asset to Mr. Straub, declined to essentially enforce those contracts.
Who has title to that land?
That's a good question. I don't know who has title to the land. I believe we'll have to look into that and see who has title.
Thank you.
It could be Straub's.
It could be. It could also still be Mr. Straub's.
Right.
We don't know. Yeah. But we will look into it. Certainly, that's easy enough to look into.
With that being said, why wouldn't the city take care of that?
It's a matter of cost. It's a question of cost.
And also whose property.
And
If it's
whose
private
property. If it's
we're
private
not
property, we're
enforcing
not permitted to use it on private property.
That's the question.
But we can certainly look into it.
And we will, and we'll have an answer.
But
Yes,
if it
ma'am.
is private property, they can still be held accountable to
Yes.
the city to maintain,
Of course,
correct?
yes.
Yes, sir. Under
Yes.
the city's property maintenance ordinances, they could be held accountable, yes.
Those ordinances I know.
Wouldn't there, not to be the horse, but wouldn't there be a SID assessment against that? That's still commercial.
That's a good question.
Well, don't you have to find out who owns it first, and then we start from
Yes.
there?
We'll find out who owns it.
We will
Find out who
investigate.
owns it. We're speculating.
Anybody else? Yes.
My name is Katura Jackson. I live on Martin Luther King Boulevard in Atlantic City. I've been to this group before regarding the bays that are south of Boardwalk Hall on the boardwalk. Now, this will be the third summer that they lay empty. And I'm just wondering, it's private property, but I'm just also wondering, is it okay with this board that it's like at least 8 to 12 bays. From what I can see from looking through the window, the interior has not been completed, but they're perfect bays for artists or any kind of crafters to be up there on the boardwalk. Well, this will be the third summer that they're empty and have not been utilized. And as we all know, when you start building something and you don't complete it, and it stays dormant, it starts to deteriorate, So this is in the middle of our boardwalk, and I think that something needs to be done. Whoever owns it, either they complete it or someone takes it over. I mean, to have the third summer of this empty, it just doesn't make sense to me. And that's just my opinion.
We have some knowledge of the area, but we don't control it.
I understand that.
Toll Brothers?
I think so.
Who, Rich?
Toll Brothers, go.
Yeah, that could very well be.
Yeah,
No, it is.
it is.
So they own it?
Yeah.
So, and apparently they may actually be doing something. It sounds like we have an application.
We have an application pending by the tenant to occupy a portion of that building.
Yeah. He's right, it's a start. Because like I said, it's been empty and it's beautiful. But it's not gonna be that way for long if it sits idle.
No argument here. Love to have something in there, certainly.
Another thing, speaking of old and deteriorated, the things on East Hall are starting to really look faded and ugly. They never pictured indigenous fish to our area anyway. I worked with 48 blocks at different times. Maybe you want to talk about getting some real art up there, some murals up there painted as opposed to what's there right now. And there's something else you maybe, riding the boardwalk, every time I ride the boardwalk, why is that beer garden out 5 feet, 8 feet, I don't know how much further than every other line along the boardwalk?
Which beer garden are you talking about? The one on
California, yeah.
Yeah, California.
It sticks out.
It's, yeah, that would be a lease that they would have gotten from the city as well.
So the city leased them that piece of the boardwalk?
What is the name?
What was the tradition about always keeping on that line? There
First
was
red?
none?
I think it's still on the first red. I think that because.
That's on the second route.
I'll say this, I think the project is one that has beautified.
I think it's helpful, yes.
That section of the boardwalk. I think that
nice.
as time progresses, I think that we should be looking to do some more of that. Because when you talk about the mundaneness of the boardwalk and it being a vital piece of our economy, we should be trying to figure out more ways to produce those things.
All the other places have temporary things, and when a parade comes down, you have room for the crowds.
It's not a perfect world.
Thank you.
Other comments from the public? Hearing none, I'll close the public comment section of the meeting. We will have an executive session to discuss pending litigation matters. I do not expect any action to come out of them. It's simply an effort to inform the board on a couple of litigation matters. I appreciate everybody being here today, and it looks like summer is really here. I hope it is. And seeing the sun certainly improves our whatever. So I'll accept the motion to close the public session of the meeting. Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? So ordered. The public session of the meeting is closed. I'll now accept the motion to go into executive session.
Motion.
Second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. And thank you all for being here. The public session is now open. There is no report to come out of executive session. I'll accept the motion to adjourn the public meeting. Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. The meeting.